I've probably heard it about 100 times by now. DS2 is the worst Souls game in the trilogy, the hitboxes are shit, the enemies are too cluttered up, and the ADP stat is bullshit. I've heard it all. But like many things in life, I want to experience them for myself before I base my opinion on it. I think that's how you should look at a lot of things in life. So in this video we're gonna find out if 1. The complaints are all true, and 2. If it actually ruins the experience for me. So I know this video is gonna be about what I liked about the game, but I do have to admit that the start of the game was pretty rough. When you first boot up the game on PC, you are hit with probably the worst possible base settings in any of the Souls games by far. I had to change so many controls to fit it to my playstyle, and on top of that, the menu settings were all in Xbox terms. Sometimes I literally had to Google what I had to do on PC instead of the game just giving me the right tools, which was pretty annoying. And another thing that I feel like is explained very improperly is the human effigy system in the game. I think up until the last giant boss fight, I had no idea why my health bar was cut in half, or how to change it. Now I do know that the witches in the opening cutscene talked about an effigy, but I had no clue that that was the way to cure me from going hollow. I personally didn't mind it all that much, because it gave me an extra challenge and made me play more carefully, but if I hadn't googled it, it probably would have been annoying later down the line. That rough start, however, was followed up by probably my favorite main hub of any of the Souls games. Not because of the houses, which are pretty awful in my opinion, but the view. I mean, look at this. It feels like I'm in Vinland Saga instead of a Souls game. That's what stood out to me most about DS2. Unlike DS1 and DS3, DS2 feels a lot lighter and warmer. And after stumbling into Majula and looking at the beautiful view, I felt like the issues with the controls and everything else didn't really matter that much anymore. Another thing that surprised me was that I had no trouble at all finding my way through the game. Knowing almost exactly where to go each time due to NPCs giving you general directions is awesome. DS1 does a decent job at telling you where to go with cutscenes and everything, but finding Quelaag, for example, is not the most straightforward thing in the world. I'd wander around for hours not knowing what to do or where to go, but in this game, I almost, and I have to say almost, never had that feeling. I'll get back to that in a bit. Aside from the main hub and the guidance you get, what really sold me on this game was a particular boss called the Lost Sinner. This was by far my favorite fight in the entire game. Not because of his difficult moveset, but because he reminded me of my favorite boss in DS1, Artorias. He gave you no room to heal whatsoever, and whenever you did, he would charge in, just like Artorias did. What also made him unique, compared to all the other DS2 bosses, was that he dodged my attacks. And in this point of the run, I was wielding a greatsword, which, as most of you probably already know, swings really slow. So I missed my attacks a bunch of times, which actually made the fight a lot harder and more fun for me. And after that, I was genuinely sold on DS2. Now, the game does have some flaws, so let's talk about them. The hitboxes, the enemy clusters, and the ADP stat. First off, I want to say that all these complaints are completely valid. The hitboxes in this game are complete dog water, and the enemy clusters are real. These enemies will follow you until the ends of the earth to kill you if they have to. Was it always fun to have 20 enemies gang up on you? No. But it made me play the game a lot differently. I had to slow down, kill every single enemy one by one instead of just running past them all the time, which, over time, I started to appreciate. The hitboxes added that extra little challenge that made me more deliberate of my dodge time, which for me was fun. And sometimes the hitboxes did feel bad, but it was more comically bad than it made me rage or whatever. A while ago I mentioned that I almost never felt lost or confused in the game, but there were 2 instances where that was indeed the case, and it wasn't obvious what to do at all. Maybe even 3 cases. The first one were the stone statues. I had no clue what to do with them, and some really big parts of the game were blocked off by them. I just went back there a couple of times until I found out that I needed a fragrant branch of yore, or whatever that is, to get rid of the stone around their body. And the other 2 instances had something to do with the mechanics needed for the Mytha and Vendrick boss fight. For anyone unfamiliar with the Mytha fight, her entire boss arena is filled with poison on the ground. So no matter where you stand, you will get poisoned. And the only way to get rid of this poison is to set a windmill on fire. Yes, you heard that right, a windmill. Who thought it was a good idea that in order to fight Mytha normally you would have to set a windmill on fire? I have no idea. I had to Google that one because after going in there for more than 10 times just trying to beat it with all the poison, I felt like there had to be a mechanic behind it. And Vendrick's case is a bit different, because for Vendrick, in order to do any substantial amount of damage, you would need to find Souls of the Giant. There are 5 in total, and with a minimum of 4, I would say, you would see some decent damage at least. And even with 4, it would still be pretty low damage, so you probably would need 5. At least I got 5. And the weird thing is that I actually liked both boss fights, but just not the mechanic behind it. Dark Souls 2 is not and will never be the perfect game, but I love its flaws for what they are. The beautiful thing is, I wouldn't have known if I truly liked the game or not, if I just listened to the opinions of others. So at the start of the video I said that I'd rather experience things myself before making up my mind, and this game is the exact reason why that is. And if you have any recommendations on what games I should cover next, or some fallen challenges perhaps, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.